We are living through what might be the biggest medical shift of our generation, where a simple weekly injection promises to do what decades of diet culture, willpower, and exercise often couldn't. Melt away obesity and normalize blood sugar as if by magic. You have seen the transformations, you have heard the success stories, and you might even know someone who has completely changed their life with Monjaro or Ozempic. But as a doctor, I have to tell you that in the world of biology, just like in economics, there is absolutely no such thing as a free transaction. When we force the body to change this drastically and this quickly, it demands a payment in return. And I'm not talking about money. I am talking about a biological cost, a complex series of trade-offs that your organs, your muscles, and even your brain must make to sustain this new reality. Today, we are going to open the books and conduct a full audit of that cost, looking beyond the headlines to understand exactly what price your body pays for this miracle. Before we dive deep into your anatomy, if you appreciate honest, deep dive medical conversations that prioritize your health over pipe, please take a second to click that subscribe button or hit the like button. It truly helps us keep bringing you these unbiased breakdowns, and I'd love to have you with us for the rest of this journey. I also want to be clear that everything we discuss today is grounded in rigorous scientific data. And clinical trials always use this information as a foundation for conversation with your own healthcare provider to help you verify everything we discuss. I have listed trusted medical sources and peer-reviewed studies right down in the video description. To understand the cost, we first have to understand the currency these drugs use, which is a lot more powerful than just making you feel full. When you take an injection of semaglutide, which is Ozempic, or tirzepatide, which is Mounjaro, you are introducing a massive supraphysiological flood of hormones into your system. Normally, when you eat, your gut releases a tiny, short-lived burst of hormones like GLP-1 to tell your brain your bay had enough. These drugs replace that whisper with a shout that lasts for a week. Mounjaro goes a step further by mimicking a second hormone called GIP, which effectively hacks your body's energy regulation system. It is brilliant engineering, but it means your cells are under constant, relentless stimulation that they were never evolutionarily designed to handle. 24/7. The first and most immediate tax is levied on your gastrointestinal tract, and for some, this tax is steep. The way these drugs stop you from eating is by physically slowing down the movement of your stomach, a process called gastric emptying. Imagine eating a dinner and having that food sit in your stomach, largely undigested, for hours or even days longer than it should. For most people, this results in that feeling of being stuffed after a few bites. But for a significant minority, this braking mechanism works too well, leading to a condition called gastroparesis or stomach paralysis. This isn't just a tummy ache, it is a functional shutdown where food ferments, causing severe nausea, vomiting, and abdominal distress because the traffic flow of your digestion has been brought to a complete standstill. While your gut is struggling to move, your body is entering a state of aggressive catabolism, which brings us to the structural deficit, the loss of what holds you up. When you lose weight rapidly, your body doesn't strictly burn fat, it grabs energy from wherever it can, and that often means breaking down expensive muscle tissue. So clinical data shows that up to 40% of the weight loss on these medications can be lean muscle mass. If you aren't careful, this is critical because muscle is your metabolic engine and your longevity armor. If you drop 50 pounds, but 20 of those were muscle, you might end up with a lower number on the scale, but a frailer, less resilient body, a condition we call sarcopenic obesity or being skinny fat, which carries its own long-term health risks. This loss of volume isn't just happening in your arms and legs, it is happening in your face, leading to the phenomenon you have likely heard called Ozempic face. Our faces have distinct fat pads that act like scaffolding, keeping our skin taut and youthful. Rapid weight loss deflates these pads faster than the skin can retract, leading to a hollowed, gaunt appearance and accelerated aging. It is a stark reminder that biology doesn't discriminate where it takes it from your waistline and your cheeks simultaneously, often leaving patients feeling like they look older even as they get healthier. Perhaps the most fascinating and silent cost is the one paid by your brain. Specifically, in the reward centers that dictate pleasure, these drugs don't just work on your stomach, they cross the blood-brain barrier and dampen the dopamine signals in the reward pathways. This is great for killing cravings for sugary snacks or alcohol, quieting that constant food noise, but for some people, it turns down the volume on life's other joys too. We are seeing reports of anhedonia, a flattening of emotions where the things that used to bring you excitement, socializing, hobbies, even intimacy feel a little more gray, a little less vibrant. It's as if in trading away the hunger for food, the brain accidentally traded away a bit of the hunger for life itself. Then there is the metabolic debt that comes due if you ever decide to stop. The body fights hard to maintain its set point, and when you withdraw the drug, that suppression lifts violently, and we see a phenomenon of rapid rebound weight gain where the appetite returns with a vengeance, often driven by a hunger that feels more intense than before because your body thinks it has been starving. Studies show that most people regain 2/3 of the weight they lost within a year of stopping. This creates a dependency model where the biological cost of maintaining your new weight is a lifetime subscription to the medication, turning a short-term intervention into a chronic, permanent modification of your biochemistry. We also have to talk about the long-term liabilities that are still being calculated, specifically the black box warnings regarding the thyroid in rodent studies. These drugs stimulated cells in the thyroid to form tumors, including a rare type called medullary thyroid cancer. While we haven't definitively seen this translate to a widespread issue in humans yet, the risk is significant enough that the FDA mandates a severe warning. It's a low probability but high severity risk that sits in the background of every prescription, a biological gamble that requires you to be vigilant about your family history and your own body signals. So where does this leave us? The biological balance sheet of Mounjaro and Ozempic is complex. For someone with severe obesity or unmanaged type 2 diabetes, the assets, the reduced risk of heart attack, the blood sugar control, the mobility massively outweigh these costs. For them, this trade is a lifesaver, but for the casual user looking to shed a few vanity pounds, the risk of permanent stomach issues, muscle loss, and metabolic dependency might mean the cost is far too high. The goal of this conversation isn't to scare you away from these tools. It is to empower you to use them with your eyes wide open, treating them not as a magic trick, but as serious medical technology that requires respect, nutrition, resistance training, and doctor supervision to manage the debt. Thank you for taking the time to understand your body better today. If you found this breakdown helpful, please share it with someone who needs to hear it and check the description below for the full list of medical sources we used. Stay curious, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.